I sang that actually at the beginning of the podcast intro. That was me. It wasn't for copyright reasons. However, it is great to see you guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to Tea with P, ladies and gentlemen, where the tea is beer and the P is me, and you are here to celebrate a wonderful evening of events, of craziness, nudes, culture, science, health, you name it. We're talking about everything here, guys. It is a new week, and we have got so much to cover tonight. We got big companies picking on my friends. We've got AAA doing a driving cannabis study. We've got a lot to discuss. So much, in fact. But before I get into that, I want to give you guys a shout out. Good to see you guys, man. Look at you guys in the chat. Huge shout out to East Coast Grower, baby. East Coast Grower, man, thank you so much for that membership, brother. I appreciate you, man. And there's Strange Show, my guy Matt, throwing down a 10 bomb, dude. A 10 bomb, dude. Thanks, brother. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. That's very kind. Quick hitting it up too, man. Quick. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for the memberships around here. We are crowdfunded and dream driven, so thank you guys so much for being a part of what keeps the wheels turning on this dysfunctional bus ride that we are on. It means the world to me. Shout out to you guys. You are the flock, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. If you guys are new here, this is your one-stop shop for everything nudes, culture, science, health, and the industry. We talk about everything with nothing off the table, just so we can start to celebrate and kind of get a glimpse of what's growing on in our community. So this is where I like to talk about it. This is the place where suppression happens. I know people were commenting earlier that they couldn't even find the notification for the show and they couldn't click the link and stuff. Yeah, man, we've been dealing with suppression for a long time, dude. Mr. Strange Show, welcome to the flock. What? Thank you, brother. Thank you for joining the flock. Gee, I appreciate you. And then he's gonna throw down a 10 bomb on top of that, bruh. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. That's the first time I've ever had 10 gifted subs. I think we had a gifted sub last week. I don't want to take away from that. Thank you guys so much, man. I'm new to memberships around here. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet, Matt. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. We're going to be talking about Matt. We're going to be talking about his channel, Strange Show. We're going to be talking about big companies that we're going to put the halt on. We're going to be talking about all that and so much more. But before all of that, we're going to have some hoots. We're going to dive into the chat. We're going to chit. We're going to chat. We're going to have some fun. But right after this message.
Last thing I need is another picture of me looking like a porcelain doll. As a paying customer, I expect to get what I want.
Okay, yeah. Just lie down on the bed, the couch, yeah, yeah. And just put your arm up, yeah, just like that. Yeah, there we go. And keep your head up. Look at me, Rose. Look at me.
Every night
Stay still.
in my dreams, I see you. I feel you.
Saving money.
That is how I know.
Like your eyes, eh?
Go on.
Beneficial bacteria.
Far across the distance.
I'm done.
And spaces between us, you have come to show.
Order your stash blend today.
Oh, knocking cookies. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you order your stash blend now. Low key, I ran all the way upstairs to turn the heater off. And then I banged into the light post as I was going by. Gosh, good to see you guys, man. Thank you guys for all the kind comments and all the kind words. I appreciate you guys. You guys probably didn't know that I was actually in the Titanic movie, but I had a small cameo. They called me. It was Steven Spielberg called me. Yeah, it was Steven called me first, and then he was like, "Yo, Jim, my buddy James is doing a movie. Mr. Cameron, do you know him?" I said, "I think I heard of him. Like Transformers or something." He's like, "Yeah." Like, "You want to be in the movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it." So yeah, sure enough. Guys, thank you so much for pulling up tonight, man. I really appreciate you guys being here. Before and with all shows, I would like to just sip from the magic vase. Okay. To enjoy my time. Zero tolerance. Good to see you, friend. That was too good. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, guys. I hope you know that you're reinforcing the activities that happen here with these positive comments, okay? You're partially responsible for the acts that have happened here to this today and then what happened into the future. Guys, we've got an incredible guest tonight. Probably should have mentioned before. We got an incredible guest tonight. We want to put your hands together for Grambo. Don't put your hands together. No one's going to hear you except for your wife upstairs. Going to think you're crazy. We got Grambo joining us at 10 o'clock, top of the hour, bottom of the next, top of the next stuff. We got Grambo pulling up from Do Grows, from Grambo Grows. This guy's an absolute, he's an absolute crazy dude. He's an absolute talent and legend in his space. He's doing things with the Do Grows show that I think are absolutely incredible, and I want to dive into that. He's a comedian. He's a great dude. I met him in LA, and man, let me tell you, I think we can talk for hours. So we're going to be talking to him in about 45 minutes. Shout out to Grambo. We're going to be diving into that and talking all things Do Grows and Grambo Grows, okay? And everything in between. Thank you guys for the wonderful conversation around the THC video, the THCA video, and the Autoflowers video. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys showed a lot of love for that, man. You guys showed a lot of love. And now I know I rustled a few feathers, but the reality is that there's a conversation to be had around both Autoflowers and THCA. And I'm thankful for kind of the community we've curated around here, man. People can handle a decent conversation. Nobody getting upset. Nobody's throwing curse words at anybody. And it's really great to see. We were shitting on Autoflowers earlier this week. And, people expected it a little bit from me, but, it was a great conversation. And people who are pro Autoflower coming into the chat saying, "Pigeons, love the takes, love the conversation. Here's my opinion on autos." And dude, it was great to listen to everyone. So yeah, it was too cool. It was very cool. So thank you guys for being, what do you call it? Adults. Oh, it's like, it makes me wonder sometimes. It's like, they always say the internet's a crazy place and a crazy negative place, but I'm like, you're in the wrong spaces. You're in the wrong spaces, friends. Mr. Matt, Mr. 420, thank you, or Mr. Strange Show. Thank you, sir, for the 420. Dono, appreciate you guys. What are you smoking on in the chat, ladies and gentlemen? What fills your vase this evening? Okay. It's amazing how nervous I get before my own show. I don't get this nervous before From the Stash. You know that? I don't. But I get this nervous before this show all the time. It's not fair. Forgot to give a shout out to all my patrons. So shout out to my patrons, man. Let's run them on the screen while we're ripping it. Cheers, friends. I appreciate your face. I'm smoking on some Peanut Butter Rockstar. Oh, does it clear or did it go over top? Oh, nice. Cheers, friends. Jay says Pigeons has a secret stash auto in his closet. It's true, he says. It's true. I take a controversial position on autos because it's the internet, man. I got friends that are doing autos. There's incredible people, incredible creators in our space doing incredible things with autos. And the reality is like, I like good conversation. And when there's one that I know that's going to get people talking, that's the one I'm going to jump on. So I appreciate those that are growing autos. I have Autoflower genetics sitting in my genetics bin that I will be growing. So yeah, expect that to happen. And expect too for there to be a big wave about it. People are like, oh, he's coming to the other side. Dudes, I've harvested dozens of autos. And so it's not new for me, but anyways, appreciated that conversation, man. I really did. One thing I wanted to mention too, guys. starting up a brand new grow class, guys. Live grow classes every 2 weeks starting on Tuesday. The very first grow class of the second session begins. If this is something you're interested in, if you're a new grower, maybe you're looking for some advice or some tips or tricks on how to grow, or if you're a seasoned vet and you kind of just want to know, how does Pigeons do it? Man, he's kind of busy. He's got all this stuff going on, and yet he still manages to grow some pretty damn fire. Come check it out. It's $25 a month. That includes 2 classes, and I assure everyone that comes to that class will harvest at least a quarter pound off of their plants. A quarter pound is pretty easy to obtain. I don't think anyone had less than like close to half pound plants this session, but I want to make it worth your money. And let me tell you, the students from this last class killed it, dudes. They killed it. We had a class of about 6 or 7 or so, and each student did incredibly well. Just trained out at a beautiful plant, massive nuggets. So if that's something you're interested in, that's patreon.com/pigeons420. So that's my spiel, guys. That's it. That's all I got. I encourage you to come check it out. However, I think it's without further ado, I think it's time we head off into the news.
Canna News. All things culture, science, and health. Your one-stop shop for all things Canna News.
So one story that I have in particular, this is the one I want to start off with because this is one that strikes a chord with me. This is one that hits close to home because I've been here before. But more importantly, this one hits close to home because this is a friend of mine. And, you know, in this industry, in this space of online content, referring to somebody as a friend that does the same kind of content as you is kind of something that's few and far between. It just doesn't happen. We don't have the ability to link up. Weed tokers and growers are quite a small niche of people, but the content creator world is even smaller than that. And I had the opportunity to meet Matt from Strange Show earlier, or at the end of last year, end of last year for MJ BizCon. And man, I really enjoyed his presence. I really enjoyed him and his brother Nick, and they were really cool dudes. And so we spent a few days together, actually, in fact, and we got to know each other. And being, as I mentioned, in this space, you don't have that opportunity to kind of just sit and chill and talk with somebody who's also doing what you're doing. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Matt recently. Let me say Strange Show. Strange Show was recently kicked out of the YouTube partnership program. And if you had the opportunity to check out Matt's video on the reason as to why they got kicked out of the YouTube partnership program, he lays out a timeline that's very clear. It turns out that Strange Show put out a video 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, in regards to freeze-dry cannabis. And it was a very informative video, very, very well put together, true Strange Show fashion, and didn't think much of it. It was just another awesome video to add to his catalog. But then he puts out a video just a couple days ago, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, that was in regards to big companies attacking YouTubers. And now I paraphrase that title because he came up with a much better one. And essentially it was his account of events that occurred over the course of, say, the last couple weeks since posting that video, between him and the CEO of the company that he mentions in this video. And what ends up happening is this company, who I will mention, and I will talk shit about, this company ends up reaching out to Matt to say, hey, yo, the messages are here, and Mississippi, you can pull them up so someone could pause the video if they so choose later on to read them. But Matt posts, they won't be able to read it because my pretty face is in the way, but you can make that go away for a half second. They reach out to Matt and they say, hey, yo, your video, pretty dope. But to paraphrase, we don't like it. We think it's misinformation. And we're going to ask you by telling you to either take it down or face the consequences. And right away, before he even got into what the consequences would be, I knew that this had to do with the copyright system, because companies do use the copyright system to essentially try to silence creators in speaking up about issues or products or their companies or anything. It happens all the time. And in fact, companies aren't the only ones that abuse the copyright system. We've seen creators abuse the copyright system against other creators as well. And the problem with this is that YouTube automatically sides sides in the favor of the complainant, and not the creator. So, unfortunately, this company, CryoCure, which sounds like Mia River, wanted him to take down the video. And of course, with true integrity and professionalism, my boy Matt said, no, I stand on my work. Not only was I speaking my opinion, to which he is entitled, but he also backed up all of his facts with scientific evidence. So he said, no, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to delete that video. And sure enough, they filed a copyright complaint. The copyright complaint triggered a review of his channel. And just like that, his channel was removed from the YouTube partnership program and was given a strike, which, for you guys that don't know, means that you can't post for so long and so on and so forth. And you have to abide by the strike, or you face even further consequence. This is an absolute abuse of the YouTube partnership of the YouTube copyright system. However, Matt makes it very clear in his video that he has resources at his disposal. He has the law. He has the illegal, or the American legal system behind him, because false copyright claims like this are illegal. In fact, you can't do it. You're not supposed to do it. And after further review, I did actually see that he had his video reinstated. So the first step is there. The video has been reinstated. However, what I think Matt either didn't mention because he didn't realize, or didn't mention because he's a very humble individual, is that he also has another resource at his disposal. And he has this community. He has his friends. Because to me, friendship, integrity, and being a man, stand far higher than anything else that I can put my name on. And so I want it to be very clear that not only do I not support this company, and like I said their name, but I don't want to continue to say it, because at certain points you're going to promote it, but I will ensure that I go out of my way to speak my opinion and to back that opinion up with scientific fact, to ensure that my community and as many people as possible are fully aware of how small the ego of the CEO, of one of the two CEOs of this company, really is. I am curious what Tracy, the other CEO of this company, feels about how outspoken Greg has been about their position, and how blatant he's been in regards to how cowardly he's willing to act to silence the little guy. The little guy. He's above average, okay? And he's taller than me. But come on, man. We're independent creators. We're independent journalists, if we can even toss that around. And to be threatened by the long dick of the law, to which you don't even have any grounds to toss? is absurd. And I will go out of my way to ensure that absurdity is known by to as many people as I can. So I feel for Matt. I feel for Strange Show. I encourage everyone in the chat. I encourage everyone who's watching to go check out strangeshow.com. You'll be able to check out. Can we share a link?
Yep.
You'll be able to check out his memberships. You'll be able to replace, or at the very least, help support what Greg and his company and YouTube have tried to destroy and tried to eliminate and silence. So please go over and support Strange Show. Go support Matt. Go support Nick. They're doing incredible things. Matt does some incredible things on that channel, and I think it's an absolute blessing that his channel has been found by the luck of the algorithm. By whatever it is that allows his content to get to as many eyes as possible. We are very lucky for that. And I would hate to see that come crumbling down. So, for as long as I've got a little mountain to yell from, I will ensure that does not happen. Or at the very least, try my best. So Matt, brother, thank you so much for all the love in the chat. I see the love, man, dude. I consider you a friend. I consider you a homie, and I know that it's not our communities, or it's the community between the two of us. So that community is our community, brother, and I appreciate you. I appreciate our friendship, and I can't wait to see all the challenges and shit we overcome in the future as we laugh this one off, brother. Appreciate you guys. So appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody pulling up here to the chat tonight. Thank you guys for being here every Wednesday night. We're here 9 p.m. Central. You can tune in, set your notifications, because chances are you won't get notified, and you'll have to search for the show, because it's a tough one to sell. YouTube doesn't like this one, but that's okay. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys for pulling up and finding your way over here no matter what. Monica, what's going on? I see Brina in the chat. Shout out to the Miss Flackians. I appreciate you out there. Bezego, good to see you, man. Angus, good to see you. Or Agnes, sorry, good to see you. Sleeves, holla. Daz, 183, good to see you in the chat as well. Your favorite angler, good to see you, friend. Good to see you. YouTubers assemble. Oh yeah, it's easy. It's an easy decision. It's integrity or just silence, and I choose integrity, baby. Every time. But I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate all of the memberships in the chat tonight. That's 25 members or so, 27 memberships. Thank you. I appreciate you and all the love and all the support. Well, I guess we're going to be doing a members only session. I guess we're going to be doing that. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. Maybe we do it in the same similar setup and we just box the shit out of this place. I think that'd be a great idea. Can I not be here for that? Maybe. We just set this up and we're running like this, baby. Appreciate you guys for pulling up. Thank you. We've got tons of nudes to talk about. We've got a great guest coming up in just 30 minutes. Grambo from Grambo Grows and from the Dude Grows is gonna be pulling up, baby. And I'm stoked to have a conversation with him. When we were in LA, there was so many people and there was so many interactions going on that I didn't have the opportunity to sit down and have a one-on-one with him. And that ends tonight, because that's exactly what's gonna happen, guys. P's mic is a little low. I'm a little low, baby.
I can't turn you up anymore.
I'm a little low, baby. I think we could turn the limiter up a little bit so I tickle the red, but I'm not going to be too much louder, friend. But I appreciate you letting me know. Mrs. P sounds best because she needs to sound the best. It's important, okay? Mine I'm running this bad boy. I appreciate you. Quick, you know what time it is, brother. Yeah. Double A, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you there. How's that? Is that a little bit better? Does that tickle your eardrums with just that sweet, sweet sanctity? Ish? Huh? Guys, we got a few other nudes I want to talk about too. We got some big things in the nudes too. Big things in the nudes. One thing I want to talk about is the Dude Grows Cup. What? The Dude Grows Cup is taking place this year, June 6th. Do we have the actual date? 6 to 8? I lost my screen.
My mic is low because his mic picks me up.
Has to be. Has to be.
So I have to
So she just talks to me.
turn mine off unless
We
I'm
need
talking.
upgrades. That's what it is.
And yes,
Just kidding.
Dude Girls Cup is June 6th, 7th, and 8th, and I will drop a link for tickets if anyone is interested.
I know. We hear you, P, but we want to hear Mrs. P. Oh, I know, Default, and I appreciate you. Another 5, dude. Stop, dude. Thank you so much, dude. That's unreal, man. Thank you. Wow. That's absurd. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, dude. Shout out to the Strange Show, man. Shout out to everything he's been doing, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for the 5 gifted. The Dude Grows Show. Yeah, you have it. Do you have a link?
Yeah, I dropped it.
Oh, sweet. There's the link. If you guys are interested, it's in Colorado. It's in Newport, Colorado. Is that correct? LaPorte, Colorado. And you know what? I think FTS might be pulling up. To the Dude Grows, man. The Dude Grows Cup. And let me tell you, I have heard of High Times Cups. I've heard of Spanibus. I've heard of a ton of different events. But the Dude Grows Cup is like one of those cups that to me is like one of the most iconic. To me, as a creator, watching the Dude Grows, watching Scotty, watching Brett, watching the team do their thing, and knowing that they're running a cup is amazing. And that they have tickets, and it's a weekend event, and all it. I'm not getting paid to say this, dudes, but I am possibly going to be there. So check it out. There are tickets available. If you're in Colorado, man, come pull up. I would love to smoke with you guys. And I'm speaking for Rob and Chris that we would love to smoke with you guys. So come on down, baby. Come on down. I can't wait. So cheers to you guys. Cheers. What are you guys smoking? Newport cigarettes. Yeah, my bad. Oh, Trip Blunts is going. Let's go. Pioneers in our space. Legit cool dudes. Yeah, you are not kidding, Rob. You are not kidding. They definitely are. So, continuing on, we got an incredible story. One that I'm very, very excited for because this could mean big things or you're giving your information to the government. Which is it? Time will only tell. Alberta's new QR code system enhances cannabis transparency. What? A first for Canada. A pilot project in Alberta is aiming to transform Canna product transparency with Metric's retail ID system. By simply scanning a QR code provided at purchase, consumers gain access to lab-tested results. This is a tough one. Certificates of analysis, product name, image, cannabinoid, and terpenes, ensuring greater trust in illegal canna products. Holla! This right here, like I said, sounds pretty amazing. Seems simple. You're using a QR code, just use your phone, boom. And you're getting access to a ton of information. Seems like quality information. This is information that I would like. The certificates of analysis, yeah. Your product name, please. An image, sure. Cannabinoid and terpenes, yes, obviously. One last thing that I would love to add to this is like lineage. Who grew it? I'm sure that's going to be in there because with the COA, I'm sure you'll see a cultivar or a farm or so on and so forth listed in there. But I would love to see some lineage in there as well, just a little bit. Where did they get it? Where did it come from? To start this trail of accountability. But quite frankly, aside from the fact that it's the government that's creating this, which is like I'm shake my head. I'm like, what? But of course, it is a legal thing. It is controlled by the government in regards to the legal framework. I'm pretty sure Alberta has like a cannabis and alcohol control board or something or other. Yo, just the tip. That's my guy. Mr. CLTV. Thank you for the 5, bro. He's got 5 on it. Other than the fact that it's the government, like I said, I kind of shake my head at this. I'm like, why? Why is it them doing this? Why isn't this a private organization? Because the government, anyways, I don't want to get too political, but I just don't think the government is sophisticated enough to start dealing with cannabis logging via a QR code metric system. But what do I know? Maybe, hold on a second. Maybe actually, as I look over at this, the metric rail ID system. So it's a pilot project in Alberta aiming to transform. So I'm actually going to retract 3/4 of what I just said there and think it's actually a pilot project that's happening in Alberta by this metric retail ID system, which is probably a company. That's what I'm assuming. Actually. As long as the government's not involved. But anyways, moving on. I don't think they can handle it. And some of the shaft too? Get out of here. We're getting the whole thing, babe. We're going to get the whole thing. You're making too much noise. I'm just kidding. We're taking the whole thing over here. It's getting loud. She got it. Guys, what do you think, though? What do you think about a program like this? I know that for the boys from the stash and I have talked about having a system in place where you're able to track this information easily, because obviously packaging sucks. Way too much plastic, way too much labeling. If you could just do a scan, obviously you should be able to label your products. You should be able to have all your information in one place on the label. But it's like, you know, or like in terms of your marketing and your, because the reason I'm saying this is because in Canada you can't have really any marketing on the bag at all. It has to be very plain, very just generic. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And the reality is that sucks. That sucks. I like some flair. I actually enjoy seeing the animations and seeing some of the artistic work that comes out of these things. It doesn't have to be a warning label. So anyways, I've kind of segued there, but I would like to see a program like this. What do you guys think? Is this a yay or is this a nay for you? I see Mr. Grambo Grows out there, boy. It's good to see you, friend. In just 20 short minutes, Mr. Grambo Grows is going to be pulling up here on the big screen. He's going to be joining me for a conversation about everything. About life, love, the plant, and anything and everything in between. So I'm very stoked about that. So if you're looking and waiting for that, that's going to be coming up in about 20 short minutes. We got a lot more to hop into, though. There's one particular thing that I'm slightly concerned about, and this is what's happening in Idaho right now. If you are in Idaho, which I will be driving through. No, I won't. Utah, baby. Thank God I'm avoiding Idaho. They want to show me notifications. You cannot show me notifications. Block. Here's one for you, friends. This is one that really strikes a chord with me because this one and my freedoms don't coincide. Particularly if I was Idaho. So in Idaho, are you the hoe? Or no?
I don't know.
Bitch, I'm a hoe. Where are you from? Idaho. Just relax, okay? I'm a hoe. Where are you from? Idaho. Yay or nay on that? Yo, motivated by Terps. Thank you, Balls Deep brother. We are in and operable. Thank you so much, motivated. Appreciate your face for that, man. Thank you guys for the love. I'm telling you, this is the biggest stream I've ever had for memberships, for donate. This has never happened before, okay? This is the first time I've been able to have these kind of things in a very, very long time. When we were allowed to do this 2 years ago, We only had this for about, it was like 60 days. And then they took it away. They took it away. So I'm getting pretty excited here. They could take this one away too. But thank you guys for letting me know that this is for real and this is happening and you guys support me and this is a dream-driven, crowd-funded operation and you guys are just sheer proof of that. So thank you, man. Thank you. Don't forget, you can also go to pigeons420.com for a lot of information as well. So Idaho, what's happening there? Idaho Senate approves measure to ban cannabis legalization initiatives. I'm not even joking. Can I read that again? Idaho Senate, the government approves measures to ban cannabis legalization initiatives. This is crazy. So let me continue before I completely freak out. In the Idaho Senate this week approved a joint resolution to deny voters the authority to legalize cannabis through a statewide ballot initiative. Tuesday's passage of HJR 4 came 1 week after the Idaho House of Representatives approved the measure, which will ask voters in the 2026 election if the state's constitution should be amended to prohibit ballot initiatives to legalize cannabis and other drugs. Idaho's voters will be asked to decide on the ballot question reading, shall Section 26, Article 3 of the Constitution of the State of Idaho be amended to provide that only the Idaho legislature shall have power and authority to legalize the growing, producing, manufacturing, transporting, selling, delivering, dispensing, administering, prescribing, distributing, processing, and using of marijuana, narcotics, or other psychoactive substances. If a majority of voters in the 2026 election vote yes on the ballot question, the Idaho Constitution will be amended. If most voters decide against the proposal, Idaho's voters will Idaho's voters will retain the authority to legalize cannabis and other drugs through a statewide ballot. So essentially what they're telling you is that if this passes, the Idaho government can essentially void your rights as an American citizen through the Constitution and do whatever it wants. It's crazy. Only in a democratic society can the government ask to take your rights away. You have the right to the First Amendment, which gives you the right to freedom of speech. You have the right to protest. You have the right to vote. You have the right to participate on measures just like this. And the Idaho government wants to strip you of your rights so that they can do it for you. That doesn't make sense to me. Not only does that go against the Constitution, that goes against democracy. However, I suppose if you vote in to have all your rights violated, I guess that's okay. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. If you're in Idaho, please understand that this is the measure to which you're voting on. And I'm not sure if Idaho is relatively conservative or liberal on the idea of cannabis. I'm going to assume pretty conservative. The classical definition, reserved in regards to the position on cannabis based on the government. But what do I know? Because the majority of populaces are pro-cannabis, despite the fact the government is pro-legalization. So if you're in Idaho, please let me know how you feel about this. And are you going to be participating in the legislative process to avoid these measures? We can make the decision ourselves. Why are governments involved in the drug industry? I don't understand that. Get out of the drug industry. Get out of there. Get out of there. You're not needed. I don't think they're needed. Slight regulation, and that's it. Slight regulation. What do I mean by that? I don't think that cannabis should come into the hands of children. Okay? That's the biggest thing. Biggest thing for me. So what do you need for that? Well, I think it should be dealt out like everything else is dealt out. Behind the register, behind a till. You have to provide identification, at least a proof of age, that kind of stuff. That's really it, man. Of course, you obviously have to make sure there's zoning and all that other stuff that needs to happen, but that already happens. Cannabis isn't new for that. So get out of cannabis. Idahoians, my other hoes, I need you to step up. Okay, hoes unite. Okay, I'm with you, hoes. Okay, we do this together, hoes. All right, Mrs. P, are you with the hoes? She's with the hoes. I can hear it already. Okay, okay. Adult use and leave us alone. Wow, Alonzo White with the 10 on it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Wow. Alonzo, thank you very much for the 10 on it, man. That was very kind. Those are huge bones. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. 5. From Quick. Sorry, I got a little stunned there. 5 from Quick. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I got Houston's hot chicken, baby. We got Houston's hot chicken when we come down, brother. It's on me. It's on me, brother. Yep, brother. We hit her big tonight. I feel like I'm on CLTV stream, brother. I feel like I get it now. I feel it. No, nothing but respect to my dogs. Those are my boys in there, man. I appreciate you guys. Yo, shout out to all the new members in the chat, too. I see all the green folks. Mrs. P, make sure that we get new memberships. We need new icons. We can put some custom icons next to those names so they're not so generic with the star.
Okay.
We're gonna work on that. We're gonna make sure we get something real nice, okay?
I take it that's my job for tomorrow.
I'll give you a few days.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple days. Yeah. What day is it? It's Thursday. Oh yeah. That's a good day for it. No, that's a good day for it for sure. Not like you're busy enough.
No, you're in meetings all day, so.
It's okay. And Mrs. P is very busy. She's been taking on a lot lately. She's been doing a lot for the channel, for not just my channel, but for the FTS and the Clips channel, and she's been doing a lot. Not to mention she runs my entire household. Shout out to Mrs. P.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I love you. I got another one for you guys. This one will probably be shocking to nobody. Actually, before we get to that one, like true news fashion, I'm gonna make you wait. Fake workermen dug up roads to power cannabis farms. What you got? I'll repeat the title for the video. What's good?
What?
You got a good one? You got a good one?
Default.
Oh, will you be our U.S. president? It's not legal, but it could happen. She could definitely handle it. But any goose, I can't have her not focusing on the house, on this home. Okay. Fake workmen dug up roads to power cannabis farms. Yeah. Turns out criminals used a registered utility company to cover to dig up the streets and supply electricity to cannabis farms on behalf of Albanian gangsters. Yeah. I'm so excited I'm banging the table. Bosses Ross McGinn from Maryside and Andrew Roberts from Greater Manchester were among 8 men sentenced at Liverpool Crown Court for a conspiracy involving at least 54 locations across England and Wales. They operated in plain sight between November 2020 and February 2024, posing as legitimate workmen with liveried vans, barriers, and signage. They even closed some roads. That's wild, dude. That's wild. I love it. So they're going to serve time. They had previously served time in prison for drug dealing. But yeah, tell me that's not fucking crazy. I have always said that if you have a hard hat, a reflector vest, and a pylon, you can go anywhere, anywhere. It is amazing. Like, obviously, you know, some government buildings are going to be tough without ID, but it's amazing how many people will let you do just about anything with those 3 items. As a ex-construction worker myself, I used to do industrial roofing, and people are like, oh, shingles, no, hot tar, modified bitumen, all that kind of stuff. And you said, excuse me, what'd you call me? It's torch on. It's a different kind of application. But anyways, I've been that guy with a hard hat. Particularly got a white one, you're going anywhere. You can even go anywhere in a job site. You can get away with anything. Through the hospital, sometimes, you know, it's like courthouses, schools. It can be quite frightening. So my message to everyone is don't be persuaded by just somebody with a hard hat, a reflector vest, and a pylon. Or that pylon can be mistaken for a clipboard, or also used as a clipboard. Look for identification, proper identification. I have seen plenty of videos online of homeowners being taken advantage of because they open their doors for people with just like that, just a hard hat, just they look like credentials. So just please be safe out there. Make sure you're always asking questions. And it's crazy that people are going to this extent for weed, for cannabis. It's just crazy. I do live in Canada, so I do have somewhat of a legal system. I just think federally legal system. I just think it's crazy that people are trying to power cannabis farms by drilling into the electrical grid of the city. Does this surprise anyone or just me? Maybe it's just me. There's a big study, guys. Big study. We're going to cram through this. We're going to blaze out of the vase. And then we're going to be talking to my friend Grambo from Grambo Grows and Dude Grows. And I'm stoked to jump into the conversation with him, talking about all things, love, plant, life, and anything in between. So shout out to Grambo, guys. AAA report says 85% of people consume cannabis on same day. Very ambiguous, very vague, very weird title. If you're to take it for face value, 85% of people who drive consume cannabis on the same day. There's a lot of fucking people, but I don't believe that's somewhat accurate. But let's dive in. A AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety released 2 reports Wednesday regarding the use of cannabis while driving. According to the reports, 85% of those surveyed said they drive the same day they consume cannabis. 53% said they consume an hour or less before driving. I asked the chat, how often do you consume either before or how soon do you consume before driving? And I'll give my honest answer afterwards. Additionally, 47% said they believe they either drive the same or even a little better. 15% or much better, 19% when cannabis is consumed. What a great edit there, as I kind of got confused as what I was saying. Meanwhile, 39% said they would trust messaging cannabis use and safe driving from cannabis industry groups and cannabis brands and companies. They would trust messaging and cannabis. Okay. They would trust messaging cannabis use and safe driving from cannabis industry groups and cannabis brands and companies. They have the weirdest ways to phrase their articles here, but they did it. So I ask you guys, how often do you consume? I personally consume right before. I know my limits. I know what's the right amount before and what's the not the right, too much, not enough, that kind of thing. I consume right before. I want to be at my best level of awareness. I want to be at my best level of function. I want to be at my best level of attention. And the best way to do that is medicated. There's a reason I use cannabis as a medication. I feel like the majority of citizens who either A, participated in the survey, felt that they wanted to participate in the need to do the survey because they're like-minded fellows like myself. and they want this kind of information to be out there and to be known. And I feel like people who don't consume wouldn't have filled out the survey, because what's the point? So I feel like it's slightly skewed. I don't believe 80% of drivers are consuming cannabis before they drive the same day. I think the numbers are far less, but probably maybe, I'd say well over 50% still. So needless to say, I don't know the numbers, but yeah, I would I would argue that there's a reason. Nobody questions someone's use of Tylenol. Nobody questions somebody's use of cough medicine or prescription drugs. Some prescription drugs say don't operate motor vehicles, some don't. There's a level of alcohol that's acceptable before you're intoxicated, and there's I feel like the same thing is with cannabis. I use cannabis as a medication. I feel as if somebody who used cannabis as a recreation would be far more likely to not consume so early before they drove, because they don't want to be intoxicated. That's how I feel. I'm medicated, not intoxicated or inebriated. So that's where I'm at. That's my opinion, and I'm curious where you stand. I don't think these numbers are quite accurate, but I'm curious what you think, guys. Curious what you think. I've even been in favor of, people like pilots. Pilots, if you need to be medicated to fly an airplane, then, as long as you can still function that airplane to the highest level of qualification and above, as long as you can do so in a manner that's respectful to those around you, yeah, of course, I have no problem with that. In the same way that I wouldn't expect my pilots to have other forms of medication to make sure that they are the best version of themselves. So, that's my opinion. That's why we are crowdfunded, ladies and gentlemen, because you guys let me speak the way I want to speak from the bottom of my heart and with integrity. And I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that. I love being beholden to you. Okay? I really do, because it affords me the most amount of leeway when it comes to my opinion, the things I say, the things we do. I don't have to do things for anyone. We do them for us. We do them for ourselves, the flock, and I appreciate you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So in just a couple minutes here now, 1 minute. Woo! We did it pretty good, eh? 1 minute. We're going to be sitting down with the man himself, Mr. Grambo, and I am stoked for that, and I can't wait. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into our guest, just this message.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear.
Hi, I'm Pigeons 420. Will you be an angel for an abused plant? Every day, innocent plants are abused, beaten, and neglected, and they're calling for your help. Please visit stashblend.com today and join the nation in helping abused plants get an 8-ounce bag of Stash Blend. That's just $27.70 or 96 cents per day. You'll be helping rescue plants from their abusers and provide nutrition, beneficial bacteria, mycorrhizae, and love. You'll help rescue plants from their abusers. Call or join now, and you'll receive a welcome kit of a photo of a dude impacted by your decision. Order now and change a life.
Last thing I need is another picture of me looking like a porcelain doll. As a paying customer, I I expect to get what I want.
Okay, yeah. Just lie down on the bed. The couch. The couch. Yeah. Yeah. And just put your arm up. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, there we go. And keep your head up. Look at me, Rose. Look at me.
Every night
Stay still.
in my dreams, I see you.
Can I guess?
I feel you.
Saving money.
That is how I know.
Like your eyes say.
Go on.
Beneficial bacteria.
Far across the
I'm
distance
done.
and spaces between us, you have come to show.
Order your stash blend today.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again to Matt for the another 5 gifted. I appreciate you, brother, for that. Look at all the members in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have got Mr. Grambo Grows. Oh, I don't even have my audio, dear. We have Mr. Grambo Grows in the chat. Oh, I can't believe I didn't get it right here. Let's get one thing more. Just make sure that one's on.
One moment, please.
Just make sure that one's on. I was so excited. I knew something was going so smooth. I knew something was just beyond smooth. How am I going to listen to this guy? Poor guy. Yeah, good. Not this one. This one. There we go. Mr. Grambo Grows. Can you hear me, partner?
I got you, buddy. You got me in ears.
I do got you, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's been a long day of cannabis content creation. I know you know the game. We had Dude Grows today, dropped the Wednesday show. Nearly made it back to Denver. We filmed the Dude Grows, at least Scotty's side, up in Fort Collins. I live in Denver, Colorado, about 90 minutes or so. So I made it down, got high, got a hamburger, ready to go.
Dude, I appreciate you for pulling up, man. Thank you for doing the hustle, coming in here. I know you would have had a long day, and coming in here and having a conversation with me means the world to me. So I appreciate you for making it happen.
Oh, this is what I do literally for a living and for a hobby. I need more friends.
I'm glad. Well, you and I both, first of all. Second thing is, I was pretty confident because we did not do an audio or a video test before this, and normally I do that now, and I was pretty confident though that we would be okay, because you helped Scotty set up last week, did you not?
Yep, I pretty much Scott's a brilliant man, but as far as like operating his buttons, hey, for me, thank God he doesn't know how to operate them, because I like that job.
I can appreciate that. I really can. Yeah, and Mrs. P in the back. Me too. Grambo, really quick. Thank you for being here. But for those that might not know who you are or what you're doing, what are you doing? Who are you? And who are your people?
I am Josh Grambo. I'm a stand-up comedian from Denver, Colorado. I've been doing stand-up since 2017. Started touring the country and realizing how little goddamn money that was going to be in that. So I have a 5-year-old kid. So I was like, I can't be touring. Doesn't pay a lot of money. I was like, when I get back to Denver, I did like a 5-week road trip all across the country. Started in Florida, from Maine to, all the way to Utah, everywhere in between. We did like 35 cities and like 40 nights or something like that. And at the end of it, I was like, man, when I get back to Denver, I need to find a job. And coincidentally, that exact week that I got back to Denver, the Dude Grows show producer, Sean Guru, parted ways, and they needed a producer. And I'd been a cannabis enthusiast since 1996. I've been a grower since 2010, and producer of content since about 2017-ish or so. So it just, all the things came together. It was like a match made in heaven. That led me to then linking up with New Millennium Nutrients. And so I am the marketing guy for New Millennium Nutrients. I work with the Jug Dealers podcast. Jaron, a lot of you guys out there familiar with Jaron from New Millennium. Me and him and Gabe, we are the Jug Dealers podcast. So Dude Grows, Jug Dealers, and then Grambo Grows. I just wanted to, I need attention. Someone look at me.
I get it.
I just wanted to prove that I could talk.
Good for you. Good for you. And I'm glad you did. And I love everything that you're working on right now, man, because to be honest, when you came in to do Grows and once, Guru found his calling, I'll be honest, it was very different. And it was very evident that the game pace over there went into high speed. And the production is fantastic. I know you're behind that. So great work. Fantastic delivery. And man, you have definitely been making a name for yourself. It's been fun to watch. I encourage anyone to come check out the podcasts and Grambo Grows as well. Or according to our promotion, Gambro.
Yeah, the Gambro, Look, I've been called Grandma. I get called Rambo daily, I always say it's like Rambo, but I'm a G. Grambo, and Grambo was his name.
Yeah, that's fair. I've heard you say that. You guys pulled up in LA for the Growers Gauntlet, man. That was pretty sweet.
That was a bummer. So we all met at a Comedy Store, right? Comedy Store, the night before we were going to go to the Comedy Store, and I wasn't feeling very well that night. And I'm sitting there, and the comedian is on stage, and she's like, "Oh, it's hot today. Did anybody go out?" And I had a couple drinks because they're like free drinks at the comedy club. I was like, I'll have a drink. So I holler out. I was like, "Yeah, I went swimming." She's like, "Where'd you go swimming?" I was like, "Malibu." And she's like, "Malibu? Are you feeling all right? You were swimming in all the sewage?" And I went,
"Oh my God.
Wait, what? No, I'm not feeling well. Why? What's happening? And then, something in Malibu is not good. And so I swam in it and got deathly sick. And so I literally fly to LA, deal with all the traffic, all the nonsense, get there. And the night before the event, I'm out. I'm done. It's like flu, vomit. I'm dying. So I'm on the couch all by myself while the whole Dude Grows family is out there with the whole, all you Canadian sons of bees.
Yeah, we were together. Dude, okay, I had no idea that you were even sick. I had no idea that you weren't even feeling well because you pulled up and honestly, everybody was around. There was so many faces. It was like we only really even talked to each other for moments. It felt like 60
we ran
seconds.
Into each other in line. We're like, "Whoa, hey,
yes,
what's going
yes,
on?
yeah,
You're here
exactly.
too?" Yeah. See, I got very sick. Then I got an oral infection that took me down for a while. Then I blew out a hernia. I do jujitsu, and I popped a hernia. I had to have hernia surgery 6 weeks ago. And so ever since you and I saw each other, I've been going through it. But literally yesterday was my 6-week recovery days. I got back to working out, feeling good. My buddy Kyle gave me 20,000 milligrams of edibles. And he's just like, "Here you go." And so I've been rocking through that for the last month and a half.
I was waiting for you to tell me. So I ate them, and I was like, "You're dead. He's dead."
Oh yeah. I take about recently I've been taking about 300 to 500 a day. Too much.
3 to 5? No, that's not too much. If you're feeling comfortable and still motivated to achieve, and you're still achieving, and not missing those priorities in life, I don't think it's an issue.
That's the thing about our line of work being cannabis related. I always say it's only, everyone goes, "Oh, he's got such a cool job." Well, it's only cool if the work gets done. If you forget to do something, it's like, "Oh man, I got high, I forgot to upload the show." Not fun, not cool.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Being a stoner, there's a song that goes, "I'm a motivated stoner," and I listen to it all the time. That's what stoned and successful. You guys know what it is.
Yes, I do. Shout out to CLTV. Put me through it. What does a regular day look like for Grandpa?
Well, so I divide my time between Dude Grows and New Millennium. They both run fully business-like, you know. Like we'll get up there. Like today, I show up. Show goes out at 4:20. I'll roll up at around noonish. We film a short form. We have a short form show now called Dude Grows Grow Talk. And it's just like 6-minute hardcore grow talk thing. So we'll film a couple of those. Then Banner will show up. We smoke all the weed in the world, and then I start doing the cameras. It's pretty much like, so I'll drive from, I get up, work out a little bit. I live in a cool apartment in Denver, so I'll go up to the roof. I'll, smoke a little flower or something up there. I got my my Dr. Dabber that I'll always take. But upstairs, I'll hang out in the sun. I'll try to get a little bit of sun on my white head. You know, it's always tough. And then, yeah, it's been tough since the surgery. I haven't been able to work out or anything. Of course. I used to do jujitsu, so that was always part of my routine. But yeah, I'll take a little bit of edibles. I'll get up to work, set up all the cameras. We got the 3 camera setup up there. And then I don't go over the format. Like I sit down cold. So like Brett and Scott will, they host the Dude Grows show. They get everything. And I sit down cold, open all the links, get ready to go. And then the higher I get, the better I do at my show. Cause I'm kind of like the sniper on Dude Grows. I can just like pop in. I control my own camera. Hey, I'm like Kramer on Seinfeld. Like, hey buddy. You know, and I'll say something funny. I'll say something knowledgeable, and then we'll wrap the show, and then I furiously start editing. I have to do all the post processing, all the audio, do all the editing, do all the graphics, and I've gotten to just speed run that shit, and I will just hammer it out. Sometimes Scott will like throw parties, like not real parties, but he'll like order pizza, and then friends, nice guy Kenny will show up. There's music blaring, and I'm like sitting there with my headphones. I can barely hear the show. And it's just like, man, God, I love this job, and what a pain in the ass it can be sometimes.
Of course, man. I you know what? That sounds very similar to the way Rob, Chris, and I do things at FTS as well. We get absurdly high. Well, I can only speak for 2 of us, actually, when I say that. Rob and I are much better at doing our own stunts during the day. I'll speak for myself. I feel much better, just loose, not so anxiety ridden, because what we do can be very stressful. It can be very when at the beginning of the show, I get nervous. I get nervous more than this show than anything else. I do FTS, it's no problem. Oh, wow. But it's because I feel like I don't have that opportunity to just relax and just get absurdly high before the show, because I'm scrambling for the show, getting sure everything's ready, guests are set, animations are okay, everything's there, everything looks okay. So I don't have that same, but I love it. I love being able to just get absurdly high, sit down with the boys, laugh about it, just do your thing. What do you use for editing?
Adobe Premiere. I am a pretty high level Adobe guy. I've been using it pretty much, most of my adult life. And now that all the AI is taken over, I see all you CapCut editors out there, and I'm judging you. With your CapCut. Oh, I'm an editor. Get out of here. It's like pollen chucking for like a real breeder. CapCut is pollen chucking for a real editor. Get out of here.
Dude, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. And the reason I say that is because that's how this show started. You're on the big screen because I didn't want to do StreamYard. And StreamYard is everybody's split in the screen. It all looks the same. You can tell everybody's using it because it's just the same animations up on the thing over and over again. And I was like, no, I'm doing this different, doing this my way, and we're going to have fun. So it's like, yes, I use Premiere as well. And it's funny because there's the CapCut on your phone, but you can actually get CapCut on your desktop, which is far more versatile. Sure. And it's really good if you can like get a CapCut moment and throw it in your work rather than the CapCut as your work, right? That helps.
Yes, you've spoken like a professional, my friend. I will use the same thing. If I need to do like closed captioning, you goddamn know I'm throwing in CapCut. And premieres catching up, all that sort of stuff. In my professional life, I call myself the pivot king. I have had to pivot about a dozen times in my life, full direction. I was a graphic designer for years and years. I made posters and all sorts of things. And then one day, December 2022, this Chat GPT comes out, Dolly gets released. And overnight, it went from I'm making 20 posters a week to 0 in a year, and I go, all right, I'm going to pivot over here. Then I'm doing stand-up comedy. It's funny when you talk about like getting nervous. I always go, oh, look at you. I'm dead inside. Pigeon still is alive. Look at him. He's got feelings. That's amazing. In comedy, for real, you'll go to restaurants. You'll get booked to do a show. You'll show up to the show. It'll be a restaurant, not a comedy venue. You go, all right, whatever. And then the people in the restaurant, they're not aware sometimes that there's going to be a comedy show. Literally, the host will go up and go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, comedy show starting in 5 minutes. And they're like, ugh. And then you have to go up and, tell your fucking going down on women jokes for 20 minutes. Just going, oh, God, do you hate me? Do you people hate me? And so you just get that sense of the danger of the online performance, way less intense.
You're 100% right. I can literally feel that you're spot on. I love the theatrics. I love performing. I love being in front of a group of people. Well, I don't, but I like performing. But I have never done any of that. I've never done anything big. I've never done anything in front of people. I went to university and like talked about things I knew nothing about for sometimes. But other than that, I haven't done that in a long time. So it's like, yeah, I think you're right. I'm not going to say I'm still alive inside and that you're dead. I feel it's more so that you are a seasoned veteran at being at this side of the production, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But dealing the comedy, dude, when you went on to Chris's podcast, which was absolutely phenomenal, by the way, and I might ask some of the same questions because I was intrigued by many of the answers. One of them being is that you are a comedian and that you have done stand-up comedy and still do, correct?
Yes, it's so. Like I said, I got off that road trip. I toured. It was my dream gig. I hosted Colorado's first ever open cannabis comedy show at the International Church of Cannabis here in Denver, Colorado. They sued the government to become a religion. They won. They're called the Elevationists. Okay. And their ritual is you light a joint off of a candle. And then that's and so they're a church, and so they're able to smoke. So they were looking to host a cannabis comedy night, and they asked around, they're like, who's like the weed comedian? And they go, Grambo, because I was a grower. So like anybody that's like, hey, can I have a hit? I'll be like, here, take an eighth, get the fuck away from me, And like, so I was just bathed in weed. So when they started that show up, I was so thrilled with it. Ended up meeting this awesome dude, PJ Johnson. His legal name is Papa Junior Joseph Papa Johnson. That's what it says on his ID.
Okay.
Detroit kid.
Wow.
Just
good for him.
Grew up in the struggle.
Yep, good for him.
Papa Junior Joseph Papa Johnson. And he was a pothead. I was a pothead. So he started taking me on the road with him, and I was having a blast doing it. It was just amazing. And then we went out on the big one. We toured the whole country. I did it. I lived the dream. I got a taste of this is what it's going to be like for like at least the next 5 years. And man, I came home with the most amazing memories ever, some of the best shows of my life, and negative $300 and 10,000 more miles on my car. And, I was just like, dude, I am effed. So I took a lot of DMT back in the day. My friend, we came across like 10 grams of the purest DMT on earth, and he and I just did it religiously. So we took it probably once a week, every week for a year and a half. And at the end of that, I developed this pseudo religion I call coincidence.
Okay.
And I just literally go with it. When the universe overwhelms me with coincidence, I just say yes and go. And so just like after all this, I ended up on the road. I come back and PJ tells me this story. He tells me this story. He says it's the man on the island. He was raised religious. I was raised hardcore atheist. And he goes, this might sound silly, but let me tell you a story. He said there's this man dying on an island, right? And he's praying to God, please rescue me, please rescue me. and God doesn't answer his prayer. He's near death. A helicopter flies over. He's super weak. They're like, hey man, you'd have to like climb the rope, but like if you get up here, we'll save you. And he goes, man, I'm too tired. I'll fall. Just go without me. God will rescue me. And I'm like, all right. They go away. The next day, a cruise ship passes by, and they're like, hey man, if you have to swim, but if you swim here, we'll take you. And he goes, I'm way too tired, man. Just go. Leave me. God will rescue me. A couple days goes by. He dies of dehydration. He goes to heaven. He's pissed off. He finds God, and he goes, hey man, what the hell happened? Why didn't you come rescue me? He goes, motherfucker, I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a cruise ship. You know,
And you said no to all of it.
Quiet. And well, PJ, he feels embarrassed. He goes, man, I know that's probably cheesy, right? And I go, PJ, I'm like fighting back tears, man. I was like, that hits me. And when I get back to Denver, I said this out loud. I was like, I'm going to get on the next helicopter that comes to pick me up. And I get back to Denver, and 4 days, this is Monday, I get home. 4 days later on Friday, Guru quits, dude grows. I go up there just to hang out. And Scott tells me on the phone, he goes, come up and hang out. We don't have no business to discuss. And 4 days later, no business to discuss turns into, you want to be the third guy on the Dude Grows show and produce us. And I go, here's my helicopter. And so long story is that I'm not doing as much stand-up right now because the universe screamed at me. It's like, dude, you started smoking weed at 12. You started growing. I'm a cannabis refugee. I left my birth home of Iowa and Des Moines, Iowa, home of Slipknot. And I left that in 2014 to come to Denver specifically to start growing legally, be legal. I didn't want to flip packs anymore. I didn't want to look over my shoulder. And so when the universe dropped that bomb on me, then the drug dealers hit me up. And all of a sudden, between Dude Grows and drug dealers, I can pay my rent and like feed me and my kid. I go, man, I love stand-up. If you would ask me when I was 5 years old what I wanted to be, I would have said stand-up comedian. It's been my dream, but the coincidence has spoken. And it says the plant needs me to take all of my random skills in business. They call it skill stacking. So I've got charisma on the mic. I can be funny. I can be engaging. I know a lot about grow. I can produce I can push all the buttons. And I just go, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, man. So I will get back to comedy, and I love comedy, but cannabis media, the fans, the community, all you guys in chat right now, I see you out there. Respect to all the Gramborg. I got a few members out there. And shout out to you guys. It literally, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm the luckiest. I'm one of those guys who's like, oh, I'm the luckiest guy on earth. I smoke weed for a living.
Dude, I can appreciate your enthusiasm about it too, because there's a lot of people in the same position that won't admit that they're the luckiest dude in the world and that they're in the greatest position. So, you know, it takes a lot of awareness to understand where you are and to not only enjoy it, but to capitalize and take advantage of it, right?
And meanwhile, my guts were leaking out of my intestinal wall and filling up pockets of me. And I'm like walking around in agony. You know, Grandma has problems. Pigeons has problems. We have real lives and problems. So being lucky is a state of mind, actually. You know, if you have legs that work, if your lungs work, if your eyeballs work, man, you're lucky. If you can pay your rent doing anything that, you know, I worked in a dispensary for a long time and I hated it. I ran an ice rink. I was a Zamboni driver at an ice rink for 8 years and I hated it, you know, and I had to leave and I had to make a lot of hard decisions. And right now it's easy to say I got lucky, but I quit my job in 2017. I started chasing my dream. I had a come to Jesus moment where I was like, dude, if working in a dispensary and selling weed doesn't make you happy, like, what would make me happy? And I really meditated on it. I go, 2 things make me happy: making people laugh and teaching people things. Mm-hmm. Those 2 things really make me happy. Mm-hmm. And I go, that's what I'm gonna do. And I quit. And 5 years of pure hell, broke, food stamps, no respect from anyone or anything. Everyone telling me I'm dumb. What do you think? I remember my aunt used to say, you think someone's gonna pay you to smoke pot and make your little doodles? And I go, holy crap, people pay me to smoke pot and make my little doodles. I'm so lucky.
Yes. But you know what? You can't count on luck, but luck counts. That's first of all. But you know what? It's consistency over time equals results. And my boy Rob's actually got that tattooed on him. And shout out to him. You know, there's something to be said about the man behind the dream, you know, because you're right. opportunities come all the time and we miss them. But it didn't take luck for you to jump and test the waters with both feet. And you did that. You did that. You tested the waters with both feet with that level of anxiety and that gut saying, don't. This is going to be scary, right? Don't do it. And you did it. Because I can relate. I was a very stable job and doing the thing, and COVID came and I had to make the jump. And I felt it. You mentioned you're a dad, man. That's awesome. How old's your child?
5 and 3/4. Gonna be 6 in the summer. It's one of those that was a real influential thing. I was one of those I don't want kids people my whole life, right? I don't want kids. And then like I was with my my ex for 10 years, you know, and it's just like, oh, like her Mirena ran out. So like you know, birth control was iffy. And then so one slip past the goalie and I go, I love this girl. We've been together 10 years. Like this is the time. I have a kid. Well, oh my God, not only was I not, I hate kids, I don't want a kid, I realized the thing I was put on this earth to do was be a dad. Had a big influence on me. I go, what else am I afraid of? What else do I hate that actually I'm built to do? And if I actually did it, it'd be the most fulfilling thing of my life. So it forced me to kind of become way more open to situations and sort of things. Because, yeah, man, I know you think you don't want a kid, but they're pretty dope.
They're pretty dope. And they'll teach you far more than you're ever going to teach them. That's what's crazy about it. I was in the same position. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to go to law school. I was going to play the legal game. And just, I pictured my house as an apartment, on all my boxes still packed, and never having kids. And then you have kids and you're just like, holy man, I'm so glad I had kids, because now I get to teach myself to be a man. And I could hear it from you before, and I totally got, like, I could tell you were a man based on the way you were chasing your dreams and hustling and just making things happen. But the way you speak about your girl.
And I'm glad too. I wanted a boy. I was like, oh, and then I just realized, like, I'd be trying to live through them. Like, oh, see that? Oh, you like a girl in class? Here's what you say. Do this. Oh, you want to juggle on a motorcycle? Let's do it. Let's fight too. No. But now I got a little girl. I just get to love her. I just look at her and I go, what do you want to do, baby? And she just wants to go to the science museum every weekend. I go, let's go to the science museum. Let's do it.
Good for you.
I was laying in bed with her, like literally laying in bed. She wakes up, I crawl in bed with her, and I was like, good morning. And she puts her head on my shoulder, and I literally go, this is the best moment of my life. You guys all know, if you know who I am, you know I get in all sorts of adventures. I have all sorts of crazy things. I had a beautiful girlfriend. I get to travel the world. I do all sorts of fun things. But in comparison to having your kid put their head on your shoulder and love and need you, man, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing.
Nope. There's nothing else, man.
I always equate it to LSD. Imagine someone that's never tripped, right? And they go, yeah, I know what it is. And I go, you don't. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't know what it is. You've never done it. And then you take about 5 hits of acid and you go, I had no clue what I was in for.
And here we go. Yeah.
Here we go.
Dude, it's funny, actually. I meant to bring this up because you mentioned DMT earlier and you mentioned LSD now. I've only done LSD maybe like twice, but I've never done DMT. Never done it. The way you did DMT, it sounds like the way I did ecstasy. What was that like? How was it difficult for you to get over it? Like to stop, or do you, if I may, do you still?
No, you know what's funny is that like we would meet up. It works for about 15 to 20 minutes or so, and we would do a dozen sessions in a night. We would just go up, come back down, talk about what we saw, go back up, come back down, and eventually, like they theorize it's generated from your pineal gland, your third eye gland in your brain. That's where it's theorized a lot of the action happens. And I would say your pineal gland just starts to run dry. And whereas any other drug, especially any crystalline powder drug, normally, like your brain is like, I should stop, and your body's like, we ain't stopping, gack it up, DMT is the exact opposite. Your mind is like, we should keep going, and your body's like, stop, I'm scared, there's no good way to And so we did
How
it
is that fun?
ritualistically. We would go up, we'd have these experiences. Like, it shows you things sometimes. I had one trip that literally took me back. It took me physically in a time machine, damn near, back to the moment where, like, at this time in my life, in my late 20s, where everything went wrong. It took me back to this moment where I got money from the wrong guy that ended up in my family, and it took me from one step, and then my mom got involved, and my sister, and next thing you know, this one decision of taking money from one guy one night end up being and it took me there, and it just kind of showed it to me for a night. And I got back, and I just was telling my friend, I was like, dude, what could it mean? And he's just like, are you stupid? It's obvious what it means. Like, that was the moment. And I look back and I go, shit. And so it told me all this it said, watch for the coincidence. I did a podcast with this Denver comedian named Alan Bromwell. He's a national tour headliner, awesome comedian. And he had a podcast called Chapel Perilous, and it was about psychedelics. And when he heard my story, he's like, you gotta come on and tell this story. So I got a back injury, and I fell into Vicodin post all this. So I kind of was detached from the world and just kind of being in my hermit hole. And I get out from underneath the drugs. I moved to Denver, start doing comedy. But the coincidence, it had settled down. It kind of went away. And it's unsettling, the coincidence. I don't like that the universe follows me with all sorts of weirdness. And so I'm on this podcast, and I'm telling them about it. And they're like, oh, that means this. Did you know this? And yada, yada. And I said on camera, on YouTube, preserved in a time capsule forever. I go, you guys, if the coincidence comes back because of this podcast, I'm going to be really pissed off. And it did, dude. And not only did it come back, it's 10x in the last few years. Then I hook up with Scotty at the bakery. He's got the same thing. He's like, yeah, I got a weird thing with coincidence. I go, you see it too? Oh. And his business manager, High C, is like the oracle. He's like a guy who believes in magic. He'll always say, Grambo, be careful with your words. Uh-huh. Our words are our magic. That's why it's called spelling. I go, oh shit.
That's very good. That's very good. You're right. I like that. Because it's almost like the idea of manifesting. I'm sure you're familiar with that, and the idea of like
makes you sound woo woo,
doesn't
AF,
it? Doesn't it?
I got when you hear every successful person on earth say that it's real, at what point do you just go, all right, I'm just going to believe you and just go with it, and then you start to see it and you go, oh God, what is reality?
It's the same. I'm sure you've heard those who tell themselves they can't, won't. Right? There's a reason that I'm sure that actually goes another way. But if you reinforce,
if you think you can or you can't, you're right.
That's right. Thank you. That is it. It's the idea of manifesting things. If you repeat it, if you make it a mantra, you can create it, man. You can create it. And that's why I think, something somebody said to me, we were actually sitting in a parent-teacher interview, and I never actually mentioned this to Mrs. Pugh, but we were sitting in a parent-teacher interview, and there was one of my son's coaches was telling me how they are asking them to set their goals. And I've heard this before, but there was nothing to it. And he said, we want to set our goals so that we know where we are and where we're going. And I thought, okay. And then he broke it down in terms of those goals need goals. So what's it going to take you to get to those goals? How many meals do you need to consume? How many hours on the bike do you need to go? How many hours of training do you need to put in to get to that point? Okay. Then those goals, what do those goals need to be achieved? And holy fuck, dude, I'm in my late 30s, man, and having someone just break it down where it was like, dude, I'm getting up and just whiffing away all my opportunity because there's no direction, there's no structure. I know I want success, but what the hell does that mean? Like, what is success and what level and what? So it's like those aha moments, and drugs have definitely led me there in many, many ways. So yeah, when I also suffer from a drug history. So it's like I'm always curious, man. It's like you sound very well put together. You're very successful, and I'm always curious how other men got through addiction and came to the other side. Are you addicted? I'll start this conversation. I'm addicted to caffeine, cannabis, I'll admit, alcohol, the love of my wife and son, and gaming, probably those things. Are you addicted to anything?
Yeah, this is one of those things, like, I can't speak for everyone. I'm sure some people out there are drug addicts. Like, there is their chemical compound, it interface with their neurotransmitters, neurons that fire together, wired together.
An addictive personality.
Yeah, see me, I'm addicted to everything,
me too, dude.
dude.
Okay, me too.
Everything.
Me too.
And so like it can be like when I was doing jujitsu, literally as a white belt, I'm addicted to like the coach walking by and going, white belt, good hooks. And I go, fuck yeah. I love when a video gets outkicks its coverage and I go, I knew that was the right packaging. I love that stuff. I love being high. I love going 1,000 miles an hour. My therapist, I started doing therapy in this last couple of years. Scott's marketing guy, High C, he's like a mentor to me. Brilliant guy. He recommended a book that changed my life. It is No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. And I was reading it and I was like, holy crap. It's like, I don't act like this. Like the way that he's describing his patients, I don't act like that. But boy, my results are a lot like these guys. And I kept having a bunch of veteran comedians go, man, my comedy. I got successful once I got in therapy. And I go, all right, like my mom died. I've lost everybody. Like I lost my whole family. Like I have an aunt and a little sister. And like, I used to have a big, huge family. They all died in weird things. And I was like, all right, maybe I need to talk to someone. And then this book really affected me. So I was like, let me look it up. Well, he trains therapists and he's only got like 5 in the world. There's one in like Brazil. There's one in New York City. There's one in Los Angeles. There's one in Denver. One of his, what a weird coincidence. And so I just go, all right, I'm in. And this dude changes my life. He'll always say, Josh, are you living life or is life living you? And that goes to the plan. Are you planning? Are you just waiting for the next thing to happen? And, and so when I popped the hernia, my life was in order. I was working out. I dropped 35 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life. And you would ask me then, I'd been like, nah, bro, I'm killing it, yada, yada, yada. Well, I popped the hernia. I have to stop working out. I have to start. All of a sudden, the addictions. I got a Grubhub addiction. I'll order a burger at a drop of a hat. Mm-hmm. It's very expensive. I've been taking these edibles. My Turpicana Kyle gave me 20,000 milligrams of edibles for free. And he's just like, I feel better, buddy. And so I've been abusing those. And I deal with it. I'll never backslide to the other drugs because I remember the hell. Yeah. The hell, the struggle, the agony, the poison. I'll never backslide to that, but I'll constantly backslide to like being antisocial, eating bad stuff, there's a great line in the movie Get Him to the Greek with Russell Brand where she goes, well, you're a damn drug addict. And he goes, I haven't done drugs in 10 years. And she goes, yeah, and you do yoga 16 hours a day. She goes, honey, there's nothing you can't turn into heroin in this world. And that's how I've lived. I turn everything into heroin. I'm dealing with it. I'm 42 and I'm still dealing with it day in, day out. What is the right path? What should I be doing? Seinfeld has a great line. What should we be doing? Can't you have a cup of coffee with people? Like, what is life? These are questions no one has answers to. Should I be working out more? Is there a reason? Will it lead to injury? I should for sure be eating better, but should I smoke less weed? Because weed's kind of been like really good for me in the last year, but maybe that's a sign I should have more self-control with it because now that there is no pressure, it's on me to find a healthy balance. So I'm not addicted to anything, but pigeons, I'm addicted to everything.
Good for you. Yep, good for you. And I hear it. And I love that you're willing to admit that you abuse the edibles. I love that you even said that. That was fantastic. It's awareness is key. And understanding that you have a concept of what's going on. Dude, your passion and drive isn't so enthusiastic and contagious. It's like, I understand it, man. And I also can feel... I understand that you did one time battle with drugs because I can feel it. I can feel it in you. Just that connection. Oh, yeah. Just how you get so passionate, dude. I just love your passion, man. And you know what? It's like, I feel like that coincidence is definitely prevalent when it comes to drug use, because I don't think it's a coincidence, or it is a coincidence, that drug use found you early to prep you for adulthood, man. Because I feel like as citizens, you're right, we don't know the question of life. We don't have any of these answers. And I feel like we've done ourselves an entirely disservice by not letting our intellectual abilities escape and go to the moon, because it's like, you know, we frown upon psychedelics, we frown upon drug use, and it's like, I think as human beings, we are the most stressed, overworked, anxiety ridden creatures of mother nature, of the planet. And I think it's because we've gone so unnatural. We've not allowed ourselves and our brains to relax, dude, and just escape and experiment. I think that's so key. Drug use. I think it's important.
If you got amnesia, right? You got knocked on the head and you have amnesia. You forget everything and everyone. Tomorrow morning, how many of your problems still matter? I have to pay rent, real problem. I have to take care of my kid, like, real problem. I have to, yeah. But then, like, the thing some lady said to you 10 years ago, it's gone. It's literally gone. It's been erased from your brain. How much does it matter? Well, that thing's been keeping you bound for your whole life. I'm 42, man. And the great thing about self-discovery is that I say it's like contact lenses. You've been looking through it for so long, you don't even know it's everything you see is going through this filter. And when you escape from that, I collect quotes. I love quotes, and like, we're in the cannabis niche right now, but on Instagram and YouTube, there's the business and self-improvement marketing niche. And so I'm in that niche, and they'll always recommend me memes. I always collect them. And the one I downloaded yesterday was one that said, fate dances with those who are already on the dance floor, you know? And so, like, fate will take care of you, but it's not going to pick you up and drag you. Like, some of us are lucky. I love your point. Speaking of fate, that the bad lifestyle found me early. I started drinking and smoking weed at like 13. I quit drinking by 25. I quit biking in at 35. You know, now I'm 42, trying to get my weed and food habit under control. And you're right. Just a little side tangent. I used to be a professional poker player back in the day. I've been on this journey to make money sitting on my ass for a long time. Mm-hmm. It'll take you in weird places. And so I was very good, and I made pretty good money. I'd make, 30, 40,000 a year, untaxed. It was a great thing. And I was so unlucky. Like, I lost every coin flip. If I'm 90 and you're 10, might as well be 50-50. I'm going to lose, that's just 98 to 2. I'm probably going to lose. 99 to 1, I might win that one. And I just had this view of myself that I was so unlucky. And then as the years click on, I start thinking about it, and I come up with this new concept I call macro luck and micro luck. Micro luck being flipping a coin, do I win this hand? Do I win this thing? Micro luck is like, oh, I changed lanes without fully looking and missed the semi by this much, and I'm still alive. And I've had 1,000 of those throughout my life, and I'm still alive. And I go, micro luck, I'm the least lucky person on earth, but macro luck, I'm the luckiest person on earth. So I like to tell people about the micro. Look at your macro luck. You're probably luckier than you think you are. You're beating yourself up because all the micro luck gets against you and you can't get a break. Hey, man, sometimes you not getting a break is because the universe is trying to force you onto that dance floor. Go.
Yeah, you're right.
Son of a bee.
You're right. And we can also get in the loop of just being our worst critics, where it's like we constantly reinforce the negative. I can't go out. Another thing that hit me was somebody mentioned that when you're a kid, every child is an artist. It doesn't matter whether you put a stick man on a little house on a giant piece of paper, a child will stand by that's their art until somebody tells them it's not. That's when we change it. That's when all of a sudden it's like, you're right, I can't draw. Because then you start to compare yourself to everybody else. And man, I that's one of those things where it's like, quit telling yourself you can't and just do it, man. The world needs you out there at your best version, at your best self. I get it.
That's why
Reinforce.
I would play. Looking back through life, I always noticed the things I got into. I got into poker. I got into editing. I got into YouTube. I got into comedy. There's all these things with immediate feedback, and so no matter how hard I am at myself, I can't help but go, all right, that video did 100,000. I did good. Like, that's good. Like, okay. No one, I can't even tell myself I didn't kill it on that one. I won all the money. Oh, I'm doing good at this. I'm getting the laughs. I'm good at this. And then eventually it just dawned on me, like dancing. One of the things in my 40s I realized I want to do is I do want to dance. I want to start dancing lessons. And it's a perfect analogy of this life of what you're saying, because like dancing's not a thing. There is no right way to dance, yet I walk out and I just feel like I'm doing it wrong. I feel like I'm doing it wrong. Now I'm going to go pay a professional to like mind fuck me into just telling me let go and do whatever you want, and then I'll go do whatever I want, and everyone will think I'm a baller because I'm, you know, whatever, but just do it freely and express yourself.
Oh my gosh. You're absolutely right. And that's why we need to take a trip to Fremont, brother. Because, dude, I can't put 3 dance moves together to save my life. But I dance from one side of Fremont all the way to the other side. And whether I had alcohol or not, it has nothing to do with it. It's 100% the vibes. It's the music. It's the people I'm with. It's just the moment. The moment is so important to me because at the end of the day, I can't bring beer. I can't bring money. I can't bring any object with me. I can only bring the thoughts and the memories and the relationships and the people that I had with me. And that's the most important. And when I'm in a moment with those people, let it go. Because why not? And I mean that with the full extent. Why not? Why not be the most freest version of yourself?
Because some assholes told you when you were 7 that you couldn't.
You're right.
And they were really confident about you, and your little 7-year-old brain went,
and they were right.
As an adult, really, you were right. And then you get a bunch of failures, and you just go, yep, see, I knew I sucked. I shit you not, Pigeon. I'm dyslexic, and I struggle with reading my whole life. I'm damn near illiterate. I can read pretty well, but very horribly. I thought that I was ugly and dumb my whole life. Until I was 37, dating beautiful women, having getting all this feedback that like, oh, it's like, so I realized like, no, I'm quite bright and actually like a fairly handsome guy. Like, why didn't anyone tell me? Oh, everyone told me. I just didn't believe them. I didn't want to hear it. I couldn't hear it. Literally, I thought they were just placating me. And I have beautiful women tell me, I would date you if you weren't such a fucking schmuck. And I go, well, whatever. And so, yeah, it's easy to get passionate about this. Once you get and you and I are peasants, right? In this YouTube game, in this like notoriety game, in this money game, you and I are nobody. Everyone in chat, you might think Pigeons and Grambo got it going on. No. We're nobody. We're just like you. And you know what really changed my whole life? I remember I was doing comedy one time, and this new comedian came up to me, and he was like, I started making some money. I started having some success, and he's like, man, like, when did you start figuring it out? And I went, I'm no different than you. You're just like me. If I can do it, you can. And I went, this is what successful people told me. I'm no different than you. And I went, no, you're different than me. And then one day I went, oh shit, they weren't kidding. They're not special. I'm not special. We're all special. Like,
you're right.
It just so happens I'm a freak who loves to talk through a microphone. I'm kind of shy. I would always go on dates when I was single. I got a beautiful girlfriend now, the Kansas cutie. Met her at the DGC Cup this last year. I heard you guys will be at the DGC Cup.
It is very well possible. We haven't cemented everything, but it is leaning very heavily to yes.
So we do, at Dude Grows, we do this DGC Cup event every June. Hundreds of people, all stoners all across the world will come in. We get 50, 70 different growers that come in. And it's another one of those coincidences. In 2022, Guru met his long-term girlfriend at the Cup. And then Scott tells me, he goes, Grambo, I got a feeling you're going to meet a girl at the Cup. And I go, Scott, it's a goddamn sausage party. You're insane if you think I'm going to meet a girl at the Cup. And then I meet a girl at the Cup and we hit it off and like essentially fall in love over the last like 8 months. And like, holy crap, Scott literally told me it was going to happen. And I go, what is this universe? Like, that's so, and she's like my perfect girl. She's got a 5-year-old daughter, just the same as me. I met her at the DGC Cup, so you know she's a stoner and it's cool. She's a plant woman. She's gorgeous. She's into me. She's funny. She finds me funny.
Good
and
for
I go,
you.
how on earth could this have happened? How could we have found each other like that? And now it's not perfect. She lives in Kansas. We got a 5-hour drive between us, and it sucks doing the long distance thing. And so I micro luck. That sucks. She lives far away. Macro luck. I can't believe I found you.
You're absolutely right.
What?
Dude, I honestly believe they always say between every powerful man, there's a woman. And if that's ever misconstrued in the fact that she just slaves to him to make it happen, that's not true. That's not true. You've misunderstood. It's because in a man's life, there's a few things that it takes to make it tick. And, you know, we need food, we need shelter, you know, these very basic things. We need male role models. That's huge. We need education and wisdom.
Oh, huge.
We need a community. There's a lot of things that go into making a good quality man. There's also something else that goes into that, and that's the love from a woman. Because I also mean from a good mother as well, but I mean the love of a woman who's going to love you unconditionally, and you can confide in after a day of battle, whatever you're doing. You can come back, you can relax, and she can be there for you, and in whatever means that is, whether that's through comfort, whether that's through whatever food, whether that's through whatever. There's a million ways to provide somebody with comfort, but it's like, if I didn't have that ability to come back and just unwind, it stays right here. It stays right here. And then how do you deal with that? How do you go through life without a partner, without a teammate, where it's like, let me lateral you this because I'm dying. Let me give you this. And they're like, yes, please, let me, boom. And it's like, go through life with somebody. It's just like, Mrs. P is a very significant portion of this operation, and not just by the work that she puts in tonight. It's just the love that she gives me every single day. So I can appreciate when another man talks about their woman, because we need them, man. We need them. There's no other way about it.
It's like, so I started my Grambo Grows channel as like I have disagreements in work meetings, and I go, you know what would really kick ass? And then no one can see in my brain. And so I think I'm eloquently explaining my point. They can barely even see it. So I was like, let me create a channel and make my versions of my videos, right? Well, I put it out, and this isn't braggadocio, it's just the data. My first ever video got 10,000, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And I put out my second video, it gets 110,000, and I go, all right, I did it. I proved my point. You know, I showed the world. And then I was lonely. I put my kid to bed on Sunday, and I'm kind of lonely. I'm just sitting there quiet. I was like, I should start a stream. I did it. We hung out. After a month, I kind of got like over it. You know, I put out 6 pieces of cannabis content a week, every single week for 2.5 years. You know, I'm active in this freaking game. And I was like, I don't really, you know, I started skipping it. And I would wake up on Monday, and I get messages. Hey, bro, where was the stream? Like, Monday's not the same. And I go, wow, someone cares? Oh, wow, okay. Well, like, if you care, I'll turn that goddamn camera on. Well, having a stranger in Nova Scotia you've never met change your life just by saying that they care. Having a gorgeous woman who loves you intently and you're amazed that she wants you. There's a 1.5 billion men that could have her, and you're the one that has her. Man, that confidence of like, you care? You care? Oh, man. Well, if you care, there's nothing I can't do. Yeah, I'll go to the gym. Yeah, I'll eat right. Having a kid, too. I always say having a kid, it doesn't make you depression-proof, but it damn near makes you, whereas my single friends are like, is life worth living? I can't even ask myself this. I got this kid that needs me, man. I got this woman who likes me. I got fans. Thank you, all the people that enjoy our content. Like, you guys give us a reason to get up in the morning. That's huge. So just knowing that this beautiful woman cares, that's all you need. That's literally, forget her cooking, forget her picking up stuff, forget her raising your house. Just the fact that she authentically cares. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. And you mentioned the community too, man. It's like I talk about being a man and having a woman. It's like, dude, if you have the opportunity to have friends or a community, and I don't just mean an online community, if you've got a community around you of neighbors in a town that stand behind you and promote you and want the best for you, there is nothing off the table. Nothing.
Which is why that event, I will say, I hope you guys can come to the DGC Cup. That'll be my plug for whatever we do. I want everyone to come to the DGC Cup. It's dgccup.com is the website to find it. I'm a comedian. I really, that skin to skin touching, seeing the laugh on your face, seeing the look in your eye, that really means a lot to me. And so to meet the fans, the people, the other content creators, hanging out with Chad Westport last year was amazing. That's why I was so bummed I didn't get to hang out with you guys in LA. Like, it's rare to get to hang out with people that are so common grounded. Like I'm a grower and it's my whole life, and no, it's not weird. It's super cool, and it's a place that we can all gather. So I hope you guys can come, because I miss hanging out in LA. And I'd love to see all three of you.
We need to come. Yeah, we need to come 100%.
And shout out to Strange Show. You come too, buddy. You're going to be a
Yeah, he's not far behind. We're going to bring him.
He was in Denver.
Yeah.
How did I not know he was in Denver?
Yeah, he's just a
Dude, you're right
stone's
down the
throw.
street. I'm on South Broadway. Let's hang out.
No coincidence. Coincidence. Eh? I love that. No, I'm in the same boat, man. I'm in the same boat. You take the opportunities that are given to you and run with them. Run with them. Real quick, one of my patrons asked, because I typically like to start the show with a patron question, but we fired right in because that's actually how I normally start my show. Indoor, outdoor, or greenhouse, which would you prefer from Sleeper Hound Design?
Well, in a perfect way, so I've never grown outdoors in any capacity. I'm from Iowa, in Prohibition land, and I moved to Denver, where it's just frowned upon. I'm a city boy, so you can grow here, but stinking, you'll get noise complaints, Denver city limits, yada, yada. So I've always been an indoor grower, and, I love everything about indoor growing. It's amazing. One of my favorite things to do is, it's like right first thing in the morning, I'd wake up, I'd go down to my grow room, and I would just breathe. Breathe all that fresh oxygen that's getting all built up in there, before the lights turn on, before the CO2 kicks on. It's just this rich oxygen environment. But in a perfect world, I would say greenhouse. Outdoor, there's so much. We have a lot of hail in Colorado. We have a lot of weird temperature swings. So there's a lot of shenanigans that can happen proper outdoor. But boy, a greenhouse, God, I would kill to grow some just like a nice, like 20 by 12, like a 24 by 12, nice greenhouse bolted into a nice cement foundation outside. Oh man, that would be sick. If I had a fountain, like Scotty's got this, like, it's not a fountain, it's just like a horse trough that has like a pump in it that makes it like do water. And anytime they're like, "Where's Grambo?" they just know he's probably by the fountain. The sound of running water and the smell of cannabis growing fresh, as we like to say on Dude Grows, the smell of raw marijuana.
Yeah,
that's
raw.
a good time.
Yeah, I love
Raw
that.
marijuana.
I love that. I mentioned that because you mentioned that you've been growing your whole life. Yes?
Pretty
When
much.
did that start?
I started by my best friends growing up, I met when I was 3 years old. We were next door neighbors. My mom's name is Shelly. His mom's name is Shelly. My dad's name is Dave. His dad's name is Dave. We were like two peas in a pod. We were Siamese twins. And so when the older brothers were growing and they would go out of town, I was the only trustworthy like, well, I know this kid, we can tell him we're growing. And so I would take care of their plants, and he grew aeroponically, which was like quantum mechanics to me at that time. I couldn't, what the hell is even happening with here? Where's the soil? I don't know what you're doing. And I'd kill more. My goal was literally just keep the genetics alive. Like, we don't expect buds when we get back, but as long as all the clones aren't dead, we'll be happy. And and so then I had an opportunity to start growing, and I'd always flip packs. That's how I would meddle for like a lot of the people and everything. And then in 2014, when the cannabis boom happened here, I had an opportunity to like move to Colorado and run an 16 lighter, 16,000 watt lights, and just stack our 99 plant counts and just bang it out. And I was able to live 2 years I was working for it, but rent free. I had my rent paid. And so I got into, it was a nightmare situation. Macro luck, horrible. Macro luck, hey, it got me to Colorado, gave me my start. And so that's when I got, like, once it was like, oh, someone's going to pay me to leave Iowa, come to Denver, find out, they're going to find a house for us, pay the rent and the electricity bill, and all I have to do is learn to grow the dank. Well, I became obsessed.
Right.
Obsessed. I needed to know everything and everything. And then once I got into it, I don't have to tell you, I'm a poker player. Like, I love the chase. I love the game. I love the puzzle. I always say, in growing weed, you go from stoner to quantum mechanics in 4 moves. If you ask why 4 times, it's like, the nitrogen goes in. Why? Oh, because it makes the plant green. Why? Oh, because the green aids in photosynthesis. Why? Because photons engage with it. Why? Because ionic structures inside the light frequency will ionize with the chloroplast and produce energy. What? What am I saying?
It's so true. It's so true, man. It's so, like, I think children have it the best. The fact that they get to continuously ask questions. Yet us adults, we stop at a certain point and we become ignorant.
Well, there's this beautiful thing called the internet and YouTube. As a dyslexic person, I swear to God, every skill I have, every single one, I learned from a YouTube video. I'm a voracious Audible listener. I listen to, $20 a year minimum, and I learn a lot from that. But man, I learn from seeing. So watching YouTube, man, there's nothing you can't learn. You can ask why, and then if some teacher's a jerk to me, I'll fall out. If I go why 4 times and they go, because of this, but Gary V on YouTube, he never gets mad at me. Alex Hermosi, I can ask over and over. Hermosi never gets mad at me. So there's no, I always say internet, 51% good. Sure, it's ruined culture and divided us as a species, but God damn it, I've learned a lot, and that's cool.
Dude, the thing is like 51. I think it's bigger than that. I think the internet has done some incredible things for people. I think it's an amazing place. I think the good is like 90%, but I think most people think the bad is. But I think the bad is the parents that don't teach people how to use it properly, typically their children, and then they grow up thinking the internet's just this wild west of just toxicity and nuclear waste. But the reality is like it's such a powerful tool.
Were you a Simpsons guy? You watched?
I was when I was young. Yeah.
So there's an episode of Treehouse of Horrors where all of the statues and marketing icons come alive, and the solution, by I think is it Burt Bacharach? I can't remember that saying. And the solution is just don't look, just don't look. And I go, man, if the Simpsons called it again, if you just take that strategy to the internet and all the things that drive you crazy, most of it's fake, man. Most of it's bots. Most of it's hysteria. Some of it's real, a lot of it's real, and a lot of it's horrible. But man, if you just don't engage with it, like I always start my Grambo Grows stream every week. I start it and I go, nothing but good vibes up in here. Grambo Grows, to illustrate, like, there will be no, like, and mazel tov to you, my friend, holding it up. Like, you have a law background. You are a more straight-minded person than me, so you talking politics, I feel comfortable. Shit, I'm glad Pigeons is out there. I'm glad someone on my team's holding it down out there, because I just can't. And so, like, in my life, it's like, let me learn. You said something that really touched me, where you're like, why did the child stop becoming an artist? Because someone told them. Well, the thing that I was going to say right before you said that was, how did my coin flip from being very, very unsuccessful to moderate success? I go, someone told me. Just the way that someone can tell you and it kills you, someone can tell you. And so I'm going to start my solo podcast. It has nothing to do with growing. Joe Rogan's called the Joe Rogan Experience because it's the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So I'm going to take a little bit from him and call it the Josh Grambo Existence. Nice. And it's like, as a 42-year-old man, I love that you're touching upon man issues. We live in this weird world where the only people that talk about male issues are toxic dudes with tattoos and Ferraris and have toxic beliefs with women, and they're really just monetizing toxic. They don't even believe most of the stuff they're saying. Your Andrew Tates of the world.
Yep.
I don't even think they really believe as much of what they say, but like, this is what gets the clicks, baby. This is what gets the marketing. So I appreciate that you are taking up that mantle, and I feel a need as well as someone that, like, after COVID and all my family dying, and after getting out of all of my drugs addiction and pulling myself out of that, and then not being a good husband in the face of all of this drama and death that followed me, and the stress of COVID and losing comedy and everything, I wasn't a good husband, and I forced this woman I love to make dramatic action. She thought I was going to hurt myself someday. I was unpredictable. I wasn't the man that she saw. And then I had nothing. I was essentially homeless for a little bit. And I pulled myself out of that. And the literal reason that I made it out was gratitude. I go, man, thank God. When my wife decided she wanted to break up and split up this 10-year marriage with a 2-year-old baby, I was furious. And I wanted to enact a lot of the things I learned from my parents during their divorce. And then, I took a really long car ride, and I smoked all the weed in Denver on this car ride. And I went from the airport to the mountains and back. And I asked the universe for a sign. I won't get into it, but just suffice to say, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in signs and stuff. And I asked for a preposterous sign, an impossible sign. And it did it to the letter. And I promised the universe I'd be grown up, and I'd be grateful if it gave me the sign, and it did. So I walked into my ex-wife's house, and I woke her up at 5 a.m. She probably thinks I'm going to, like, get an axe out and go crazy. And I told her, hey, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing, but if my life goes well and I don't ever get a chance to say this to you, if one of us dies in the next 10 years and I didn't get to say this to you, I'd be really bummed out. So we're not going to wait for 10 years. We're going to do it tonight. I said, thank you. Thank you for getting me to Denver. Thank you for helping me leave Iowa. Thank you for giving me the confidence to become the grower that led me into this thing. Thank you for giving me the best baby on earth. Thank you for helping me deal with my mom's death. I am endlessly hurt by you. I don't know why the hell you're doing what you're doing. And maybe someday you'll tell me. She still hasn't 5 years later. But I said thank you. I had gratitude. And our lives, that moment of gratitude changed everything. It gave me everything back, and it gave me the feeling that I could do anything. And you know what the hardest thing to do? I've forgiven everyone. You know what the only person that's hard to give forgiveness to? Me. I beat myself up endlessly. If you don't learn to love yourself, no one can love you. And it's a preposterous idea, loving yourself. How conceited. But they say, in an airplane, you have to put your gas mask on first before you can put on anyone else's. You have to be that person. And so now that I've gone through it and I've done it, I want to start a podcast directly speaking towards men and women of over 30 and below 30, and just tell them this stuff that no one told me until I was in my mid-30s. Shout out to Mel Robbins, as a real popular YouTuber, author. She's awesome, man, and she's changed my life. Just this one little thing where she's like, just be excited, man. Anytime the anxiety pops up, your brain doesn't know you have a very limited palette of neurotransmitters, and the things that create excitement and anxiety are actually very, very closely tied. They're actual neuropeptides that create those emotions, very similar. So when you're having anxiety, just tell yourself you're excited. Go, man, I'm so excited. Have a little smile. Dude, that shit really works. All the cheesy crap that you think doesn't work, it works.
It does.
And so, I recommend that. And so shout out to you for representing. It's not easy to have these conversations. You get put in the manosphere category, and it's hard. I don't like being judged for things I don't do.
You're 100% right. And you said so many things there. And the first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you. Because nobody had these conversations with me. I had no real male role model in my life. So I have a son now. And that's what's really helped me, because I don't... And I struggle with... The biggest thing about having children and not having a role model is I struggle with affection. I don't know how to love. And more importantly, I don't know what's enough and what's too much, because I don't know. It's like, as my boy is now 13, he's going to be 14. One thing I struggle with is embrace. What is appropriate? Obviously, society has this very skewed reality of what they think is appropriate. And by society, I mean Hollywood. But I don't know what's appropriate. I don't know. So sometimes when I hug him, I get very uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable, particularly in public, right? Because I'm like, we shouldn't do this. This is weird, dude. Right? Let's fist bump. Hey, I'm sure you want to fist bump. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm the man. I'm the dad. I'm the father. I want to love unconditionally. Come here. This is my boy. This is my boy. I love him. I'm going to give him a kiss on the forehead too because I love him extra much. And I think that's okay. That's okay, but I feel very weird about it. And I know that there's other dads out there and there's other men out there that struggle with that same thing. And I feel for them because they shouldn't feel that way. That's their child. And you should love. It's okay to love. There is no too much. It's okay to love. So, yeah, as I say too much, obviously the society now comes in. I feel like I got to caveat that, but I'm not gonna. Because I'm a father and I'm a man and I can love my kids.
Exactly. I said I wanted a son. And then I was like, oh, I'm glad that I have a daughter. What did I say? I just get a lover. Because I'd have the same things. I empathize with you. I'd have all those questions. Am I emasculating him? Am I being too firm? Am I not being? Whereas with my little girl, I kiss her 10,000 times a day, a billion hugs a day, pick her up, spin her, dance with her. And I only say that because I know for sure, I don't have a son, but I know I'd struggle with that same thing. Am I emasculating him? Am I being weird? Am I toxic masculine? Am I being a simp for my own kid right now? Like, what,
What's the right answer? And that's why I feel like we need to talk about this. And so to your podcast idea, I would love to be a guest. I'd love to talk about my experience. I'd love to be on it because I do agree. I think we need more representation of good men. They don't need to be tatted, shirtless, women abusing assholes. That's not a man. That's a child that wasn't raised by adults.
Yes, people are always baffled. Like the girls I date, I'm very fortunate. I get to date very beautiful women. I live in I'm a comedian. I travel all over. I meet lots of people, and so I always get a lot of affection from and dudes that are kind of like chumpy always have the same reaction. Like at the DGC Cup, you'll meet my girlfriend if you come, and you'll have a thought. You'll go, "How the fuck? Why is she with Grambo?" And it is because I turned off all that bullshit. All that bullshit that's dragging us all down, all that, I turned it off. After my divorce and like losing everything and having nothing but my own child as the motivation to like rebuild myself better, all of a sudden I turned it off. I got in therapy. I realized I'm a grown man. You're a grown up. Other cultures have rituals that on this day, if you go to certain tribes in Africa and go, when did you become a man? They'll go March 32nd, 1999. They know the day. Because they went through a dramatic ritual that was a clear divide between childhood and manhood. And here in the West, we don't have that. So as I stand before you at 40, I just told this to Scott. He offered me some salad before I left the bakery. And I was like, I don't eat that. And then I go, man, do I not eat that? Or is 9-year-old me still running the roost? I think 9-year-old me still, because I don't hate the taste. I just don't like it. So why don't I eat it? Just because, I didn't. And now I don't. Well, that's a shitty reason. Put it in your mouth and chew. And in 5 years, let me know how you like it. Most people say if you just force yourself to, I got a buddy that loves caviar and stuff. You literally couldn't pay me to eat it. I'd need several $1,000s. If you offer me $1,000, maybe I'll take a bite. Anything less than $900, I don't think I take a bite. Yuck! It's yucky.
That's me and blue cheese. I've never eaten blue cheese in my life. And I will never eat it because I hate it. It's disgusting. Don't like it. Can't pay me. It'd have to also be several thousands of dollars for me to pay or for me to eat it. That's crazy. Man, Grambo, I honestly feel like we could go on for hours, and I feel like we should. But I got a producer that likes to sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Grambo, this was a wicked conversation, brother, and I feel like this is one of many. I would love to have you back on because I feel like we just scratched the surface, dude. I would love to dive into some of those experiences that you were discussing, whether it was the DMT or being a father or a good role model to the community, or a man for that matter. Because I appreciate you, Grambo. If anyone wanted to reach out to you or wanted to get a hold of you for any reason, where would they do that?
Number one is Instagram. I really try to push. It's at Josh Grambo, Josh, and then Grambo. It helps me out a lot. It's one of those things. I remember I was out on tour and I was talking with this girl, and we're in the class, like, oh, I'm a comedian. She goes, oh, you're a comedian? I'll find you on Instagram. She types me in. She finds me and she goes, you're a comedian? I got more followers than you.
Oh,
And I go,
please.
shit. When I get back to, but whether we like it or not, people pre-select, like, these numbers mean a thing. You know, when you talk to Chris and it's like, oh, you've got X amount of subscribers, of course I'll do your podcast. Versus like Cortez the Conqueror, he's got 1,000 subscribers. Ooh, Chris is better than Cortez. We're all equal, man. We're all doing this. But unfortunately, it does matter. So with the Instagram, it helps me with gigs. It helps me with all sorts of things. And so follow me at Josh Grambo. I like to post a lot in my stories. I always post a lot of motivational. Anything that you see in my stories, it's something that helped me. I really don't post for the world. I post for me. So that way things are like in there. And a lot of it is just like, get after it. We're not getting any younger. Things like the last thing I posted last night was like, today's the youngest you'll ever be for the rest of your life. You're too old? Just tonight, this is the youngest you're ever going to be. Let that sink in. You know, I love little things. Right over here on my wall, I have there's a smart channel I love on YouTube called Kurtzka's Arts, in a nutshell. And it's a science-based cartoon channel. And they sell this cool calendar. It's called the Calendar of Your Life. And it's got 100 years and then 50 dots over every year. And at every Sunday, I mark off a dot of my life. And I look at it, and I can look at it right now, and I go, holy shit, I'm about 2.5 through my life. Like I'm almost to halfway if I'm lucky to get to 100. And I go, man, that's really motivating, getting past all this stuff. And so, yeah. Well, once again, at Josh Grambo, follow me on there. And then the main thing is I want to see all the fans out there. So dgccup.com. If you guys can afford it, come to Colorado. It's a beautiful time. It's an amazing event. We don't make a dime from it. People are always kind of shocked by the sticker price, and they go, man, that's expensive. And they go, literally, I'm here to tell you, we do not make a dime on it. Brett, he lives up in BC. It's his big excuse to come back to Denver every year. We have a big blowout. Every dime goes towards like paying the bud tenders, getting all of the stuff, getting a giant tent, generators, paying for the food, paying for the security, paying for the paramedics and all the medical staff that we do, you know. But we buy pallets of water to have there, you know. We used to. They got mad at us for the plastic bottles, so might not do that. So follow me at Josh Grambo, all sorts of stuff. Come to the DGC Cup, dgccup.com. And that's pretty much it. Keep being real. And I hope that someday, this is always my hope, I have moments when I heard someone say something and it changed my life. And I was talking with Nick T, the hash maker. I met Nick T a year and a half ago, and he said something that changed my whole life. And then I went up to him at the Emerald Cup this last year. And I go, Nick, I got to tell you, you probably don't remember me saying it, but you said something that changed my whole life. And my dream is to have someone come up to me in 2 years, 5 years, and go, bro, I listened to that episode on pigeons, and it really hit me. I'm a dad. I'm a recovering addict. I'm not loving myself appropriately. I read that No More Mr. Nice Guy book. I put in the work, and now I'm 10 times more successful than you, and I would love to extend something to you. I would make me nothing happier to know that I changed someone's life out there, and you can be the change you want to see. Run for politics, if you want the government to change, run for politics. If you want your school, for your kid's school to be better, run for the council. Go to parent-teacher meetings. You can be the change. I think one of the big conspiracies in this world, that the oligarchs and the powerful people, you know what my big conspiracy is? That you can't. Well, only the big, you got to have money to do that. No, that's what they want you to think. So that way you play their game. No, son, little people can make big deals. When they legalized weed in Colorado, man, one law firm that was really two guys are the reason that this whole game got started. And Colorado does it. Washington does it. The dominoes start rolling. Then the rest of the world starts changing. This one law firm, you could argue, is the reason that worldwide legalization happened. What change can you be? Tell me. I want to know. I want to see it.
I love it, man. I love it. You're the epitome of enthusiasm and motivation, brother. And Grambo, I can't wait to see you at the DGC. I highly encourage that everyone turns up for that as well, because I believe FTS will also be showing up. But we haven't made it official yet. but this is T with P. You get the T here first. Grambo, thank you so much for being here. This is the first of many, brother. We're gonna do this again because, man.
And I'd love to have you on every Sunday at 8 p.m. I do my stream, Grambo Grows. I don't really promote my stuff. You know, Jug Dealers, Dude Grows. I'm trying to promote their stuff. I work with them. I love what they do. But I'd love to have you on, man.
Please.
I haven't had any of the Stash Bros on. I'd love for you to break the cherry.
I will be the first. I'm there, brother.
Beautiful.
Grambo, thank
We
you
will
so
plan
much
it
for
out
being
soon.
here. Thank you, brother. Until next time, we'll see you. Have a great night, bro, man. Thank you.
You too.
Thanks, Grambo.
Later.
Wow. That was epic. I don't know what you guys thought about that, but I thought that was pretty damn awesome. I gotta be straight. There was a ton of things in that conversation that I could have dove into for much longer, and I appreciate Grambo for doing so, because it's gonna give me some ammunition for the next time that we sit down and we have this conversation. He makes a really good point in regards to a couple things. The first thing is that the guilt thing. When I mentioned, after he mentioned that he guilt trips himself all the time, and that I feel like we are our biggest critics, and the reality of that is that we are our biggest critics, and that's because in order to be the best version of yourself, you need to be absolutely honest. You need to be appropriate. You need to be brutal to tell yourself that either the way that you are acting is productive or it is not productive. And as a man, these are things that we can struggle with, because this is the ego. There's a fine definition between being a critic and being depressed, because you then need to harness that motivation, that you need to harness the energy to convert that criticism into production. It's okay to be critical, but if at the end of the day your criticism outweighs your production, it's unhealthy. Lean off yourself. Start to remember what your foundation is, what's important to you, because this is going to give you the energy to attempt to do it again. So I do love talking about men issues. I like talking about human issues, because we're here for each other. We need to be a community. That's what's important. And I thank Grambo for being here, man. It opened my mind for things, because there was a lot of things I didn't think about that he brought up, and that was awesome. That was awesome. I asked you, how did you feel about that episode, guys? That was really good. What did you think? Were you enlightened? Was it not too bad? Thank you guys for tuning in. Mrs. P, you still with us? You hanging in there?
Yep.
Good stuff. She's doing great stuff. And to believe it or not, I want this to be a 3-hour show. Could you imagine? Maybe we'd start an hour later. We'll do it for season 2. This is 49 episodes, actually. This is 49 episodes, Mrs. P. 3 more, and we've done it for a year's worth of content. Maybe for 53, we start a new season when you do it earlier on a different date that's not hockey. Huh? Speaking of hockey, we're not here next week, are we?
Yeah, we are.
We're here next week, not the week after?
Well, we do have a game next week now.
But it's not on Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
It's on Wednesday.
But we weren't going to cancel because we already have a guest line.
We do have a guest, but we're going to have to cancel, unfortunately.
We're not here the week after because we're...
Oh my gosh. We have Mr. Todd McCormick was going to join us. Incredible guest for next week. And unfortunately, we're going to have to reschedule because hockey playoffs have taken the stage, and I have to accommodate for that. I don't miss my boys' games for nothing. We talked about coincidence. We talked about moments. And these things is that I don't get my son's childhood again. Just that easy. And I will be able to reschedule these and do the show and all that stuff, because I've got priorities are so important to me, man. And my family is so important to me. My wife is so important to me. My son is so important to me, and I will miss it for nothing. So we're going to reschedule that. It's going to kill me to do it, because I'm just coming off of the Autoflower video, which was a banger. So anyways, we'll push it back. We'll push it back a week, and then 2 weeks. And then we've got him, and then we've got Brett coming from Dude Grows. We got a great lineup going up into the end of March and February. No, April. Sound like my son.
Yeah.
Guys, that's an entire show for you tonight. If you guys are interested in more, I will be posting some of these clips on the episode or on some videos coming in the coming days. Tea with P is its own show now, or its own channel. You can find that with a link. Miss P will get that in no time. And you'll be able to get that, all the best highlights, including the interviews and more. We're going to be posting old interviews on here. So if you've missed any and you don't want to wade through them all, they're going to start posting. Live grow classes on Patreon as well. Patreon.com/pigeons420. If you would like to participate in live grow classes, starting from environment to seed to harvest, baby, and dry and cure, come tune in. Patreon.com/pigeons420. $25 a month if you're interested. 2 classes a month. I think it's going to be worth your while. I anticipate everyone's going to be harvesting lots of weed. It's going to be a great time. Also started a grow channel, guys. Mrs. P is going to be like, you got another link for me? Pigeons Grow. She already knows. If you're interested in grow content that gets age restricted the moment I put it out, I don't know why. Well, I know why. It's because I'm Pigeons 420 and I've been in this game for well over a decade. I can't put out weed videos without them getting age restricted, unlike everybody else for some reason. So unfortunately, they're age restricted. You're gonna have to find them. I'm not playing the game where I got to upload it 75 times to figure out if it's gonna work. I don't have that kind of time. So it's age restricted. It is what it is. If you want to participate in that, come hang out. Pigeons Grow. The link is in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here, man. That's my spiel. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Idiom, Wild Element, Chapo, Thurgood, Cannabis Vibes. I appreciate you. It's what? 2A. Yo, what's up? 2A Law. Appreciate you, man. Law abiding. John, thank you, man. I'm going to be on my way. Jester, thanks for being here, guys. If you made it this long, you're a real one. If you made it this long, I'll tell you, let's say in the next epi, there'll be a giveaway at this time. Okay? Promise. On a roll, you're a good one, man. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitch at Pigeons420. I'll be live there tomorrow night and maybe tonight. I doubt it, but maybe, because I want to play that game and we'll see how I feel after I take a giant piss. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. This is another message brought to you by Stash Blend. Guys, you're awesome. Thank you, Frankies. Good to see you, homie. East Coast. Yo, huge shout out to Strange Show for all of the gifted memberships. Thanks to Quick. Thanks to all the gifted donos. You guys are legendary. This has been the most craziest stream we've ever had in regards to memberships. So I appreciate you guys so much. See you, AA. See you, Sour Man. See you, Grow Ohio. See you, Skittles. See you, Curly Green. See you, Agabla. See you, Chef. Chef Terps. Thanks for all the love tonight, too, man. I saw you out there. Thanks, Chuck Bailey. See you, America. I'm out of here. Peace.
Last thing I need is another picture of me looking like a porcelain doll. As a paying customer, I expect to get what I want.
Okay, yeah. Just lie down on the bed. The couch. The couch. Yeah. And just put your arm up. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, there we go. And keep your head up. Look at me, Rose. Look at me.
Every night
Stay still.
in my dreams, I see you.
Can I guess?
I feel you.
Saving money.
That is how I know.
Like your eyes say,
Go on.
beneficial bacteria.
Far across the distance.
I'm done.
And spaces between us, you have come to show.